Hello, friends. This is part 2 of talking about the documentary called Vanished, the Heather Ellis case. They end up finding out that Sydney gets his phone back and everything. And then it starts to come out that Sydney went to Walmart and bought a pregnancy test, okay? And there's proof. There's obviously, cameras and everything of him doing that. He tries to say that he bought it for his wife. Well, they found a pregnancy test box in Heather's apartment with no pregnancy test. So if you're a girl and you're watching this, what's the first thing that you do if you find out that you're pregnant? You go to the person that helped get you pregnant. Okay, so they never find this pregnancy test. Tammy, the wife, tries to say that it was for me. I was waiting in the truck, and Sydney, the boyfriend, actually does interviews with the press and is crying and is like, it was for my wife and she was in the truck. I had nothing to do with Heather having a pregnancy test. I don't know anything about that. Lies. I guarantee it's lies, but whatever. It comes out also afterwards that Sydney was one of the last people to contact Heather before she up and disappears, and he calls her from a payphone. So when they're doing their interview with him, and the detective straight up asks him, did you call her from a payphone? And he's like, a payphone? They have payphones still? And the detective is just like, obviously he's trying to be like, oh, what are you talking about? Yes, we still have payphones. It wasn't. Well, then he eventually ends up saying, yes, it was me that called her from the payphone. So her roommate that Heather had lived with for a long time, that she was super close with, her roommate actually said that Heather was always really petite, really small girl, and she always didn't like to be over a certain amount of weight. She was very self-conscious about her weight. And she said that before she had passed away, Heather had gained a lot of weight. Her boobs were significantly bigger than what they were before. She had gone up 2 different cup sizes, which is not really abnormal. I mean, you can just gain weight, from stress and these things or whatever. But definitely if you are pregnant, that's what's going to happen. Your body just changes. You get bigger. Your body has to get ready for having a baby, obviously, So time goes on, and Heather's family is actually being stalked like crazy on the internet. They are being followed. There was a couple times where her dad, Terry, was out in public. Heather's dad was out in public, and Tammy's sister was taking pictures of him. And there was actual proof of text messages of Tammy saying send me pictures. And they were just getting stalked by all of these different random, even troll people as well, because they don't have proof of it. But supposedly Tammy was starting these other Facebooks to be trolls and try to say oh, she's not missing, she ran away, you need to look into her dad because her dad was abusive, and I think her dad and her sister had something to do with her disappearance, trying to put false narratives out there to obviously try to get people off of their trail. So this is all allegedly. We don't know for sure, but seems like probably what was happening. And then also they end up arresting Tammy and Sydney because there was camera footage of a truck that looks exactly like Sydney's driving down the street on 2 different cameras from houses. His truck got recorded of driving down the street where her car was found at the boat ramp. Okay, how does that happen, right? They even did a what is it called, a reenactment of what the same kind of truck of what he had at night, what it would look like, how the headlights were on, driving super slow. And then the second video, they drove back really fast. They did the same thing, and it looked exactly the same as his truck. It's come on, you guys were there. And they're trying to say that they were not. They had nothing to do with it. They never went to the boat ramp that night. Whatever. So they actually end up getting sentenced to 30 years each, and they're still in jail. They will not get out until 2045, I think it is. But this case was just really sad. Obviously, this girl was super young. It's just so unfortunate that she chose to have a affair with a man that was married to somebody that's kind of crazy. So you guys have to go give this one a watch. It was really, really good.